Okay, so from inside veer to midline, we've have our A gap and our B gap option plays. Now to the outside veer, which is a play that we added after our first year. And with my brother being the offensive coordinator, we've gone back and forth, and we do that every now and then about the pros and cons of running this play. I came from a split back veer offense, so running the outside veer in my college days was something that was just part of what we did. With the fullback directly behind the quarterback, it makes it a little bit of a tough angle, but after we worked out some of the details and some of the kinks, we feel that it's really been a beneficial play for us. Again, the outside veer gives you that C-gap option play for teams that like to play, the C-gap defender. Teams that will reduce down in a four-man front, or 50 defense teams that really you now can attack that. It's a triple option play, again, that utilizes all your backfield players. Everybody's involved. Only your play side slot's now a blocker. So your quarterback, your fullback, or your backside slot that's going in motion could be a ball carrier on any given play. What we have found out with that is that this is probably one of the hardest plays to defend, just because of the players that we're attacking. You can teach your inside, as a defensive coach, you can teach your inside tackle to come down on the midline, and you can teach your defensive end to come down on the dive on the inside veer. But it's really hard for you to teach that stand-up defensive end or that outside linebacker type player to come down and tackle the dive. And we really have had a lot of success giving the football to our fullback on this play. Number three, it makes the outside linebacker react and do something he doesn't normally do, which is what I was trying to get at. He now has to tackle the dive instead of be a quarterback player every single time. And then it gives you a great play against 50 front teams. And that we have seen defenses evolve from the four down because of so much spread offense back to the 50 front defenses, the head up nose and things like that. And we really felt that adding this play for 50 front defenses gave us a huge advantage to be able to attack a player that doesn't normally have to tackle the dive and things like that. Again, just some basic concepts. The quarterback now reads the first man on or outside the tight end, which is usually an outside linebacker or a stand-up defensive end of some kind. And now he pitches off the first man that shows outside of his handoff key. As we'll talk about later, we call that a mush situation, where he can really, once he makes a read, if the defensive end or the outside linebacker comes down and tackles the dive, now he can get out of the mesh and really accelerate to the edge, knowing that the next person that shows he can pitch off of because we have everybody else blocked. Against 50 defenses, it utilizes a double team from the tight end and tackle. And the reason that I put that in there is I really think that, going back to the extreme pass rusher, the guy that can really get off the ball and do things, he's usually not your more heavy-legged type player. He's a skill player is what we consider those guys. And anytime that you feel that you can get 250 and 220 pound tight end, hip to hip, shoulder to shoulder, double team and a skill type player, you really feel that you can get some movement and really gain an advantage in that gap. So we like to utilize that, and you'll even see in film a little later that we'll trade our tight end to those guys and give ourselves a situation where we can do some of those things. There's no need to check it against a 50 defense. It's good to either side as long as you have to run it to the tight end. You can't run it to an open end with no tight end there. It just doesn't work unless your tackle's really good at blocking those D ends. And right now we don't feel that we can do that. And I'm not going to suggest that.
Next, we're going to talk about outside veer. And we talk about working from inside out. So we've talked about the midline being an A gap, inside veer being that B gap play, and now outside veer being that C gap play. We started running outside veer a lot later than we did inside and midline, just from a standpoint of we had to figure out that track for that fullback, since we're essentially in an I position, and it's a little bit different footwork. And since we've done it, it's probably one of our better plays, especially versus 50 defense. It really puts a lot of pressure on those outside linebackers. Let's go through some responsibilities here as we try to describe different keys to being successful here at each position. With our quarterback, we're going to talk about the 1-2-3 slide and ride. Coach Hafner growing up at Pitt State, and we both played high school football in the option and in the split back. This is what we grew up with, 1-2-3 slide and ride, and this is a great concept, working straight down or into the line of scrimmage. Hopefully you're getting penetration from your guys up front, that your quarterback's able to work into the line of scrimmage here, reach that ball back off that third step and ride that thing in there. Fairly easy read for your quarterback. We really like this because he's getting that opportunity as he's working down the line of scrimmage, checking out that outside pitch key, or the handoff key in this case. So 50 defense, that 9 technique really putting some pressure on him. Handoff keys first, man on or outside the tight end. You can tell how we've progressed out to that. Pitch key now, we call it a mush pitch. And what we mean by mush pitch, it's basically the first guy that shows after our handoff key. And we don't want to necessarily identify who that person is to our quarterback. You just have to rep it because it could be a couple different guys. Okay, fullback footwork. Now we're going to take that play side step at the inside hip of the tackle. This is a challenge because that guy really has to run really fast to get there. With Coach Hafner and I, we've debated a lot of times about doing this, and really, to be honest with you, we just had to rep it and see if it was something that was going to work for us, and fortunately we did. We're going to hug that double team. The fullback's going to hug that double team between the tight end and tackle, and again get vertical, and we'll see some clips of the vertical concept here in just a second. Again, that soft squeeze creating that good mesh. Okay, let's look at the play side slot. Very similar of inside veer. This is one thing that we found that we've tried to keep consistent is inside veer, outside veer. A lot of our blocking from our receivers in our play side slots and our slot, we're not changing a lot, and that's important to us because they don't have to think as much. But we're going to arc release and block the immediate support player just like we did on inside veer. Backside slot's going to try to get in that pitch relationship, running through the heels of the fullback, and our receivers are going to base stock the corner. You can run this to an open side, to a tight end side, and that's something you can do without a receiver out there, and we've done that quite a bit. Okay, let's look at the tight end and tackle kind of together here, but we want a double combo with the tight end with the tackle and really try to create that C-gap opening there so we can read that outside defender or that 9 technique. Very important that we do that. If that C-gap player, that 5 technique, or a 4 technique ends up slanting inside, we immediately work to the play side linebacker. So our double team concept is a double on that C-gap defender, now working the play side. Play side tackle, you look at all kinds of different concepts here that we try to teach our kids, and we're going to, again, double with the tight end. If you have a C-gap player, if you have a B-gap defender, now it just becomes basically down, and all that good stuff. It can very easily, based off of defensive fronts, become a down scheme. Just depends on, again, if you see solid front like a 3 and a 5 and some things like that. And we do see that occasionally. Play side guard, if he has an A gap, he's going to double with the center. Try to get to the backside linebacker. If there's a Mike, we'll get to that guy. Again, if there's a B gap defender, we'll double that just as we mentioned above. Okay, center. If there's a play side A gap, we'll double with that play side guard. If there's not, then we're going to work everything. Now we're working our scoop technique, trying to get to the second level and working up. And again, we try to keep things simple on the backside, especially if we're checking things at the line of scrimmage, that our backside rules are pretty much scoop on every play that you've looked at so far, except for the midline. This is something that we have put into our offensive package in the last couple of years, and really we've had a lot of success with it. We talked about earlier about how the midline play gives us that A gap, the inside veer gives us that B gap play, and we were really looking for that C gap play. And since we're an option team that uses a tight end, we decided to put in outside veer. Okay, again, let's go through some basic rules. We'll run outside veer to the right in this situation. Remember, we're reading now on inside veer is the first guy on or outside the tackle. Outside veer is the first guy on or outside the tight end. Okay, so inside shade of the tight end, head up to the tight end, outside, outside shade, that's the guy we're reading. So in this particular case, okay, we're going to be pitching off of this one. Okay, now we don't have a receiver out wide, so now our slot here is responsible to block the corner. Anytime our slot's responsible for the corner, we have what we call a mush pitch. Okay, a mush pitch is any time that we haven't identified who we're blocking as far as the pitch key is concerned. So a mush pitch could be the strong safety, depending on where this guy ends up. More than likely the strong safety could be the backer over the top. Okay, and as we go through this, you'll see what's going on. Okay, let's work from play side over. Again, techniques vary here out of this from the tackle. So you may get a head-up technique. We practice a lot. It's a 5 because we want to double this, and we're going to double this to work to the play side backer. If he works inside, okay, what we do now, if this guy works inside, we'll just down scheme him. If he's a heavy C-gap player, we'll double him, and we're going to try to work to this play side linebacker here. If you look here now, this guy, again, is going straight up. Rules stay the same as inside veer, don't chase. And then now we're scooping on the backside, working this combination, trying to get to this backside backer. Okay, as most of you option teams know, what happens a lot of time, if this guy scrapes, your tight end ends up blocking play side, backside backer ends up being potentially play side guard. This double here, if it's really, really good, can work. If it's late reacting, sometimes you can get to the backside safety. Okay, and again, we're just backside scoop rules here. Okay, we'll always let that backside guy run. If this defensive end gives you pressure, then we'll end up cutting him at that point. We'll work the backside rule here. Okay, going back in the backfield. Okay, again, we don't have a receiver wide, so this guy's now responsible for the corner. So as you can see in this mush pitch situation, your handoff key more than likely is going to be your strong safety. Okay, aiming point for your fullback is now the inside leg of that of this tackle. He again is recognizing technique where that guy is. Hug it, hug it, hug it. As soon as you clear, get vertical as fast as you can. Quarterback's footwork is 1, 2, 3, slide and ride. We talked about that in the PowerPoint presentation, and I know you've seen some video on that, or will see some video on that, so this is important. It's 1, 2, 3, slide and ride. Reach that thing back. We're going to read this outside linebacker, and then we're going to attack the perimeter from there. Pitch path here is, again, running through the feet of the fullback, trying to get to that 5-yard pitch relationship as we go. One thing about outside veer for these pitch backs is they have to really, really bust it to get in pitch relationship because it happens really, really fast. Our quarterbacks love running outside veer. If you don't have this installed, I think it's something that you have to look at because the quarterback has plenty of time to see the reaction of that defensive end or outside linebacker to make a decision. Our quarterbacks love running outside veer. It seems to be an easy read for those guys. Okay, let's look at an unbalanced situation and the dreaded bear front. Who runs the option sees a lot of bear front. When I mean bear front, we're getting out of 50 teams, 3 down teams, we're getting a nose and double B gap players, whether it's 4 eyes or 3 techniques. And now we're getting those outside backers walked up, okay, in some type of roll coverage in the secondary. What we're going to do is we're going to run outside veer now to the left. So again, we'll base stock the corner. Okay, now we have an extra defender here. Let's identify, there's our handoff key. Okay, again, we talk about mush pitch. Okay, potentially could be this strong safety, could potentially be this backer. We'll just kind of put dotted lines around those guys. Because as you can see, by bringing this over, unless they slide the secondary, we have an opportunity to gain some huge advantages here. Okay, so there's our handoff key. Now what bear front does to us now is allows our tight end, he's always going to step down just in case of slanting, especially versus a 4-eye defensive tackle. He's going to step inside and really push vertical to cut this backer off and seal him inside. Try to create this wall right here for our fullback. If we get a true 3 technique, we're going to double this guy. And we're going to try to get mass movement, working everything back into the second level. Okay, again, backside scoop rules. We're going to scoop front side number, work this This combination here can work here. You can see we can get a lot of people to the second level. This becomes a crucial part of this, is trying to get this backside 3 technique cut off. And it takes a lot of practice. It's something that you have to do. A lot of times those guys will cheat their splits to help out. One thing I know we talked about in our PowerPoint presentation as you look through here that I failed to mention early on is that we cut our splits down a little bit on this. You know, we talk about we're working off of 3-foot splits in all our option game. We'll cut these down to 2.5, sometimes 2 feet. Your kids will try to cheat it down even littler and littler based off of some of the concepts that you're trying to do. Try to keep them at that 2.5, 2 feet mark. Don't let them give plays away too much. We have plenty of run game out of smaller splits, but make sure you don't give things away completely. Attack again this inside leg of this tackle. Look for that vertical cut. 1, 2, 3, slide and ride. He opens up, points his toe towards the sideline, and gets moving. Slide and ride. And now we're going to attack the perimeter looking for mush pitch. Again, run through the heels here, get to that 5-yard mark. Okay, outside veer, a great football play. It again takes a lot of rag work. You got to get that fire hose out, and you got to get on it and just rep it just like you would inside veer, midline, all those things. The footwork's a lot different than, you know, a lot of our option plays that we run. But again, now you're getting a C-gap run play, and you're running still your triple option concepts that you're trying to do. It's an aggressive physical run play that can be very successful and get to the ball to the edge in a hurry. Okay, let's look at some outside veer cut-ups. I think this is important that, you know, we have, as we mentioned in the first video, we have several different tight end formations that we run. This here is an unbalanced formation. A 4-3 concept, and they're going to walk up this outside backer here. You can see here they're stemming to this. So let's identify here real quick who our handoff key is. So the first guy on or outside our tight end here will be this gentleman here. So this is going to be our handoff key. So at this point we want to double this guy. We have an A-gap defender, so we should come down on this. He's going to work play side A-gap to the mic, and then we're backside scooping here. Okay, we never, as we haven't mentioned this, but we never block this guy except on midline. We feel like our splits have allowed us to not do that and him chasing things down. Okay, aiming point for our fullback is the inside hip of the tackle here. That's our aiming point. He wants to hug this double team and get vertical. He's a support player. He's pitch. 1, 2, 3, slide and ride with our quarterback. 1, 2, 3, slide and ride. Excellent, excellent mesh here. These guys have worked a lot on the rag. Very, very good. You can see this is a good job by our play side tight end. Guy slants into B gap. Our tight end recognizes that, immediately goes to the Mike linebacker. Vertical, get that vertical cut. Let's go back and look at the wide briefly. Give you an idea of what's going on the edge. Very similar to inside veer. Arc release, looking for that support player. We want to try to get that receiver in front of the corner there a little bit better. Great job here by our quarterback carrying out fake, trying to get the safety to run. This has been a great goal line play. People like to pack it in, blitz those A gaps and those B gaps. This is a wonderful, wonderful idea. Yes, we traded tight end occasionally, just like everybody else. You notice we cut the splits a little bit. Okay? We have a good package of plays that we run where we cut splits so we don't feel like we're giving that away. Okay, this becomes essentially a down scheme across the board. Really puts pressure on this 9 technique. Again, identify here, first guy on or outside the tight end. Let's get this guy over here. So now this guy here becomes our handoff key. Getting inside, so he should step to check slant, the tight end, and work himself up. Good footwork here, staying on track, get vertical, go get what you can, get in the end zone. Very physical up front. Our kids love this particular play. Okay, this is probably an example here of, there's a lot of good things here. Our quarterback this is his first game running this, so you can see his footwork's not as good. As we progress, this is something he really got really good at. Good read here though, handoff keys coming down. Now we're going to pitch the football. Okay, we do pitch the ball on outside veer a little bit. Okay, this is some type of bear front here. Could have gave this one either way. You can see we have them a little bit outmanned here to the boundary here. We get a good double team. Tackle should try to overtake this a little bit better. It allows the tight end to come off. Get the ball to the edge here. You can see you don't need that support player if you're pitching off of them. Okay, let's look at some 50 front stuff. This cut here is the one we're looking for, and this is why I put this clip on here. You can see here, this is a great job by our tight end stepping down. He gets a B-gap slant. Good footwork here by our quarterback. And now look at this cut here by the fullback. This is why I wanted to put this on. This is the key to this play being successful. You talk about getting 6 yards. This is going to get vertical, go get 6. Hopefully people overrun and you can make this a bigger play than what we need.